Hello guys and welcome to rural Germany. In today's episode we are going to do a few things, starting with building a lake. We will then continue building a waterfall that flows out of a water source in the rocks. We will build a train bridge over the river, a highway under construction and a small village. And not to forget, we will build a fake train tunnel through a fake mountain. But before we do all of that, I just want to thank you guys for 1,000 subscribers. Not even 1,000 subscribers, we're at almost 1,300 at the moment. It's been crazy today as of recording this, 13th of February, and I'm just totally blown away with what's happening at the moment. Thank you guys so much, and let's go for 2K, I guess. So we finished creating the lake with the main river flowing into it, and now we are creating a second small river that will lead to the waterfall. This will be the second source for this lake and also explains why this lake is here in the first place. This lake with the feeding rivers was really painful to plan because of the terrain, and also really painful to build because the rivers were too steep all the time and they just didn't function at all. So now we are moving on to the waterfall. For this waterfall I used an animated waterfall asset that I increased the size of with procedural objects. Water physics are a bit weird in City Skylines, so you can't really get a good looking and functioning waterfall, so I just decided to do it this way. So the source of this waterfall is somewhere in the mountain behind it, and the water gets out next to the waterfall. There's a lot of rocks around this waterfall, and this is because the upper layer of these mountains is usually made out of ash and then dirt above that, because this was a really volcanic region. The ash got washed away by the waterfall, especially in the spring when it is even bigger because of all the melted snow, and the rocks below the ash don't get washed away quickly, so they stay. They are eroding slowly, and that's why there is a lot of smaller rocks on the bottom of the ravine, but it stays significantly longer than the ash on top of them. Over here we are expanding the final part of this specific highway for now, because after this bridge there will be an interruption of the highway because the highway simply hasn't been built yet further on. This because there is a lot of nature between that, and it takes lots of time to discuss if there will even be a highway and where to put it. This is inspired on the actual A1 in Germany, which also has an interruption in the Eifel. This most likely won't be finished, but on one part they are actually slowly expanding a bit. I'm not sure if they finished that part or if they are still building, but that is actually what we're going to replicate over here. And yes, I know we've been doing a lot of highway stuff, but I promise this is the only highway part that we'll do in this episode. As I said, we're going to do a lot of different things this episode, so it won't be that the rest of the episode is focused on doing this specific thing. So back to the construction site, because this technically is another construction site. I painted a lot of gravel on the ground with surface painter to replicate a highway that is still being built. And yes, I know this would be done with sand in real life, but gravel just looked a lot better. And you can see that this is progressing really slowly as everything is a bit empty and dirty and nothing really is happening. This is because there is no need to hurry, as they don't have permission to continue it so far. Because going further in the area, it is even more rural, so there would be less and less benefit to have a highway over there. A part of the traffic that doesn't need to go anywhere in the Eifel and is just passing it. So for now, this is the end of the highway and it's time for construction markings again. So now it's time for some train stuff. We are connecting up the train tracks from Erstendorf to the area over here, and we will also be adding a really nice bridge across the river over here. So the reason that I'm actually spending so much time on trains is because I want to do a first-person train ride at some point, as I think it will be a really unique view to the city. Here we are starting on another unique thing of today's video, the fake tunnel through the fake mountain. I could have just done an actual tunnel through this mountain, but what would be the fun about that? So I decided to make a fake tunnel. What this means is I have a normal railroad running through a mountain. I'm then using the tunnel entrances of Ronnie X to create a tunnel wand, and then I add rocks to cover up the gap between the tunnel wand and the actual terrain. I also added a grass surface network on top of the tunnel to make it a bit easier to cover everything up. And then the only thing left is to add some trees on top to make it look like one big thing. So now we're moving on to the next part of the video, which is building a town next to the lake. So I already got a name for this town. A few weeks ago someone suggested me to call a town Bursee, but because there is a lake next to this town, I decided to call this town Bursee. Very original, as always. See literally means lake in German, and it's pretty common to have towns that are next to a lake called something with See in their name. We're just placing houses and detailing them, so I'll see you after the time lapse. For the last big thing of today, we are building a station for Bursee. This is different than the station in Erstendorf. We are adding terrain conforming platform props from the modular station project, and then we are upgrading the train tracks over here to a train station track, which means this can still be used as a train station, but it is completely modular. I needed this to make a slightly curved train station, and this train station has a slight curve in it. This is a really rural station, nothing special, and the only reason it is still being used by the trains is because it is a pretty touristic town and lots of people are coming here to see the waterfall or the lake. I am probably going to do a first-person train ride from Erstendorf to Bursee at some point, probably for episode 10 or something as a special, so make sure to look forward to that. And with that said, this is the end of the episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for 1000 subs, and I don't know how many subs we're at when uploading this video, but thank you for that as well, and then I'll see you in the next one. Oh, by the way, I have a Discord server, link is in the description. Make sure to join it, there are some awesome people in there.